Hi, families. Thanks so much for joining us today. So it was a good hand in hand between literacy tips and tricks and behavior. So Miss Moore is going to be doing a video on behavior. I am going to tackle the literacy tips and tricks. So before we get started with some of the things that we do to talk about literacy and alphabet recognition, I'm just going to kind of give you like the before stuff of like why we're doing it and kind of what is motivating for kids, at least from what we've experienced here. So, the first thing that we have to know is that it's very longitudinal, meaning it's going to take time to get from point A to point B. It's not going to be fast. It might be bumpy, but they'll get there. With that being said, every student, as you know, learns at their own pace. So, even from like child to child in the same family, they learn differently and they learn at a different pace. So, it's going to be very similar to your students, where we have a wide range of students of where they're at in their alphabet knowledge, their phonological awareness, their print awareness, all of those pre-literacy skills that we start here and in kindergarten before they like start reading. So the biggest example that I can give you, or the biggest tip, is make it fun. Okay, it's so different. When we were younger, it was like drill, 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 memorize, memorize, memorize. Whereas now, we've learned through different studies and just progress in what we're teaching the kids and the pace at which we're teaching the students is they have to enjoy it. They have to have fun. I've already talked to a lot of our families about my job as a preschool teacher. Yes, I need to teach them how to be at school and how to sit and do all those things. But my biggest job is to make learning in this environment fun. Because if I don't make it fun, they're not going to want to come. Okay, and let's be honest, some of them don't want to come until they get here and they're like, oh yeah, it's fun when I'm there. I want them to love school. And that's the same thing with learning. You're going to get some of your students that want no part in writing, in coloring, in learning their letters and wanting to read. And that's okay. But what you have to keep pushing forward is like, no, we're going to have so much fun doing this. It's going to be meaningful. It's going to be good for you. You're going to love it. Okay. So one, you kind of got to be an actress or an actor, right? You got to make it a big deal. Like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. So when you first start teaching letters and you start first teaching them that, letters are letters and they have a name and they make a sound. Okay. You also have to teach them how to visually discriminate between shapes, between letters, between numbers. So kind of where we start, instead of just dive bombing right into like, this is the letter A, this is the letter B, like you have to kind of figure out and teach them that each of these different figures means something, right? So we're going to visually discriminate first. That's going to be like our first thing. Okay. Now, if some of your students are already doing this, you can move forward. But if you're starting at baseline, okay, we want them to visually discriminate between like, this is a letter, this is a number, this is a shape. Okay, so you're going to have to talk about the lines and do they have holes, and really get into describing each of those types of letters, numbers, and shapes so that they understand, that's a shape, not a number. Oh, she's asking me for a letter, so I'm not going to say 5. Okay, so visually discriminating. So sorting. Okay, sort out your shapes. Then if you have numbers and letters, see if they can sort those out. Right? Talk about, that's not a number, that's a letter. Look at the lines here, or look at the hole here. That's kind of what we talk about first. We kind of physically describe things. So when you're sorting then by numbers and by letters, you're going to look at, which ones have straight lines? Which ones have holes? Which ones have curved lines, right? Which ones are in your name? Which ones are in your sister's name? Okay, so you're first going to start with like sorting them and figuring those things out. Okay, so teaching them in context, a context that is meaningful to the students. Okay, they're probably not going to care about, vegetables, right? They're probably not going to care. They won't know how to, B is for broccoli. Sometimes, if they love broccoli, they might. Okay, but we're going to teach those letters and those things that are meaningful to them, right? Because if they want to learn it and they love it, then they're going to be more apt to sit and do things with you. So just remembering that letters and numbers, they have shapes and those shapes have names, right? So this is a 3. Look at that 3. Look at how it curves. Okay. The next question is, when you're starting to sort letters, I would definitely try to keep both uppercase and lowercase if you have them. Okay, as we're learning, and I'm guilty of this, I used to always be like, oh, we're doing uppercase first and only uppercase. But as we're starting to learn with like foundations and that kind of thing, it's really more important that they learn the lowercase letters too, because that's what they're going to see when they read, right? So completely simple, but yet it took us, preschool educators a little while to realize. So we're going to be doing both lowercase and uppercase at the same time. And talk about that. Talk about lowercase. Talk about uppercase. You can call it capital for the uppercase too. Sometimes we simplify it and say big and little. So talk about those things, that they have names and those names have a meaning, right? Again, do both uppercase and lowercase letters as you're doing it. I heard this from Vanessa Levins. She's a preschool teacher, advocate. She's been fantastic, and I get a lot of interesting ideas from her and her website. She came up with this acronym called HEART, and I think it's very important that you kind of lean into this. If you can't think of anything else, I'll put this out on a PDF too, just so you kind of see it in an image. But HEART, HEART, so it's hands-on, right? You always want to have them doing stuff with their hands. Not really worksheet, not really drill, but hands-on fun, right? The second thing, it's got to be enticing. It's got to be interesting, okay? I'm a mom. I get it. There's going to be some things you don't want to do at your home. I don't do slime. Slime is a no-go at my house. So if there's something at your house that's a no-go, feel free to be like, nope, not doing it. But think of something that your student loves, okay? Is it sand? Is it Play-Doh? Is it water play? Any of those things that they love, try to use those in your little lessons with them. Okay, so H is hands-on, E is enticing, A is make it a connection. Okay, so when you're learning letters, they need to have a connection to that. So their name is probably going to be the most important, right? Then mom, then dad, then maybe a sibling's name. Okay, the funny thing is environmental print. So all those things they see when you're driving around town, Target, Walmart, McDonald's, they know those, right? They see the sign, they can read it. Have those go in there, right? If it's their favorite restaurant, if they love to go to Target with you, throw Target in there. Talk about the T in Target, right? So make it a connection. Make it something that they love. Okay, so repeated exposure. So we want to do things more than once, right? They're not going to get it after the first time. You have to do it many times, okay? So repeated exposure to the same things. You'll notice that we'll come back to some of the same activities here, or it's the same activity, but it might look a little different. Like it might have a snowman this month, and next month it might be a heart, right? Same skill, just amp it up a little bit, right? The last thing is time for daily practice. You want to practice this every day, even if it's just for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. Every day you want to keep practicing. Okay. It can be in the car ride. It could be at the store. I see a T. Do you see that T? It's a capital T. It says T, T, right? It can be any time of the day, 5 minutes less. It can be more if they're interested. Okay. But try to make time for it. Try to make time for it every day, right? So hands-on, enticing, make it be a connection, right? Repeated exposure and time daily to do it all. Okay, so HEART. Okay, so now that we've kind of got the background of it, right? How much we need to practice, make it meaningful. Here are some of the things we use in the classroom that aren't really expensive. I know you don't want to go spend a ton of money, but you can buy things that you can use over and over again. I have to be honest with you, the Target dollar spot is like my jam. I find so many good things there that I can use. So one of the things that we use are these number tiles. I'm going to take them out of the box or the bag. So they have uppercase, they have lowercase, they have numbers. And these are fun things. It's hands-on. They can build. They can try to build their name. They can try to build a family's member name. They can try to put it in alphabetical order. So these little tiles, again, I think they're $3 at Target Dollar Spot. They're fantastic. We use them all the time. One of the other things that we use a lot are magnetic letters. Okay, so I have these in uppercase and lowercase. You don't need anything fancy. I think sometimes at like the Dollar Tree they sell magnetic letters. Gosh, I can't get it open. we also have, these are like littler size ones. So these are the uppercase ones. I have like the bigger ones, and those are kind of bulky and sometimes lead to more playfulness rather than kind of what we're working on. Oh, here, I've got a couple lowercase in here too. There you go. See, I think typically the vowels are going to be one color. They're going to be red. And that you can point that out too. They don't really need to know the vowels yet, but we do introduce it in the 4-year-old class when we do foundations. We do talk about the vowels just a little bit. Here's another thing I got at the dollar spot are these little mini erasers. Again, they're $1 for a little baggie of them, and they have them. These are just uppercase that I have. Okay, but we use these a lot. We match, we spell our names, we spell our friends' names. I've got a whole bin here of them. But these are quick and easy to have at your house laying around. Be like, oh, go get your letters. And then, have little name cards that you can handwrite of like their name, your name, siblings' names, Target, McDonald's, Starbucks, whatever they like. Then they can try to match the letters. Then once they match the letters and see that visual discrimination of like, oh, this D is the same as this D, okay? Then you can start talking about like letter sounds. Oh, it's got a straight line. It's got a big curve. Look at that, okay? That's similar to the B, right? The B has a straight line and 2 curves. Oh, they're so similar, okay? Talk about all those types of things when you're looking at those letters. It'll just help them remember it, okay? So little erasers. Another thing is easy, it's cheap, it's fun, are letter stickers. Okay. They come in different sizes. These are the bigger ones. They do have some that are a little bit smaller. These are a little bit easier to manipulate for our kiddos. So again, fine motor is helpful too. They have to peel the back off and then you stick them on. You can start by just letting them pick whatever ones that they want and throw them on the paper. And then talk about, oh, that's a capital G. That's a G. Or that's G like Geo's name. Okay. There's all kinds of different things you can resort to when you're doing these literacy activities. One, just let them get the idea of having fun playing with them. And then you can kind of dive in. This one has a little bit of texture on it, so that's kind of fun. They have glittery ones. They have shiny ones. They have a bunch of different letter stickers that you can get. Amazon is, again, such a favorite of mine because it's fast and it's cheap usually. Okay, so letter stickers is something else that we use. Another thing that we use a ton, and Amazon is the best place to buy them. And, if you've ever had a garage sale, you've seen these a million times. But these little stickers are fantastic. One, you can go over colors if you need to. Another thing that you can do is on a big piece of paper, a little piece of paper, write all the capital letters. And then you can write capital letters on here, or you can write lowercase letters on here, and then they can match. Okay. Once they get to the point where they are knowing words or trying to figure out words, put sight words on here. In, of, the, all the ones that they're going to have to know, and you see a lot in reading. If you'd like a sight word list, you can literally just type in kindergarten sight word list, and it'll give you a bunch of the ideas or the list the list of all those words. Okay. So again, these are so good. Okay. They're good fine motor work, and then they're good you can do numbers, you can do shapes, you can do all kinds of matching things with these. You can have them do their name, put their name on them, and then have them put in an order. Definitely a ton of things you can do with these stickers. Love them. Another thing is I got these from the Dollar Tree. It was, I think it's supposed to be border for bulletin boards. I got enough border. Okay, so we use them and we just put them in these reusable pouches. And then what we'll do is we'll take our magnetic letters, or we'll take our little erasers, and then they'll have to match. They have to find it and match. Okay. I haven't found these in lowercase letters yet, but I haven't really been looking. But that would be good too, to match upper to lower. They've also got these in numbers where you can do the same things with numbers. Okay. Let's see what else. Oh, it's got black and white version too. However, whatever's easier. If your kids get distracted, easy, black and white is better, because look at all those all those colors. It's a little distracting. Sometimes they talk more about the colors, but this way they can talk all about the letters. Okay, don't judge. This one's been used a lot, so it doesn't look so pretty. But magnetic letters, and then you use just a cookie sheet. Okay, I grabbed, I think, stickers from the Dollar Tree again that they have in their like little art center, or I don't even know where they are there, but I just stick them on the pan. And then again, they have to match. I've got them in upper and I got them in lower, although my lowercase are getting fried. So again, matching. Okay, what you can even do too, if they're ready for like the letter sounds, like the first sound, find either little pictures of something that starts with A. You could find little manipulatives that start with an A. So if you have like a mini apple, anything that you can get around the house, have them match. Okay, A says right? A, apple, Can you find something that starts with Do that with each letter. Again, if you start with the letters in their name, specifically their first letter, this is going to be way more meaningful, right? Because we have friends that'll see a letter and they'll be like, Z like Zara, right? Or N, that's Nico's name. Okay. They're gonna find that those letters are more meaningful, so they're gonna remember them more often. Okay. So again, cookie sheets, stickers, easy way to do it, good cleanup. The magnetic letters obviously stick so they don't fall and fly everywhere. I mean, they're 3, 4, and 5, so they're probably gonna fly everywhere anyway. But at least this way, they'll stick on here. Let's see. What is also a good thing too, you could do for the car ride. I don't have one made, but I'm going to show you. You're going to take a file folder. Okay, so take any of these types of file folders, right? I would laminate them, but that's just because I love to laminate. But you can do it without. Just grab some Velcro or Velcro strips, and you can Velcro all the letters on here. And then it's a good car ride practice. Okay, one side has all the alphabet on it, and one has all the letters, and they match. You can change it to upper, lower. You could do shapes. You could do numbers. Anything that they one love or need to work on, that's what you can do. So one side you would keep like the actual pieces that you want them to match to, and then the movable pieces you would want on the other side. So yes, it's a lot of Velcro, but you can use it over and over again. Especially if you laminate it, it'll last longer. If you need help with anything like this, if you want me to make one specifically for your kiddo, I can probably help you with that. I have no problem doing that. But just let me know. These file folders are great, and you can pull them out anytime, anywhere if you need them to sit quickly while you're making dinner. Throw it on the table, have them sit and do it. That's a really good one too. I wish I would have made one for you. I'm trying to think. Oh, sticky notes. They love sticky notes. Okay, so I think earlier this year for my PM over the weekend, I was like, have your parents put sticky notes around the house and you have to go find all the letters. Okay, that's a good way to do it. Make it a game, right? Make it exciting. So sticky notes are fantastic because then you can put them around their house. They're not going to ruin anything and they're still going to be very useful. So what you could do is like on a sheet of paper, okay, you could write the letters of the alphabet. Take the sticky notes and put all the letters of the alphabet around the house. Give them the paper, and as they go find each one, they could circle it. They could check it off. You could have them write it if they're ready. That's another thing that they can do to help just build those skills, right? It's active, which is good. Get their bodies moving. That's such a big thing. It focuses on letters. It focuses on that visual discrimination, and they think it's fun. You can play hide and seek with letters. Take your magnetic letters, hide them around the house, see if they can go find them. If you're an adventurous parent and you don't mind, doing things like shaving cream or rice or kinetic sand, you can put those in maybe like a baking dish, something a little bit bigger than a cookie sheet, just because you want the edges a little bit taller. Put those in there, get your letters, hide them in there, and have them find it, and then they have to tell you what it is. You can also, again, make like a little sheet to go with it, like a recording sheet. So if they find the letter A, then they have to go to the sheet and either circle it, check it off, write it, whatever. I'm trying to think. I thought I had one other thing to show you. I think that's it. But again, going back to that heart method, you want it to be hands-on, which a lot of things that I showed you are all hands-on. You want it to be enticing, so something they really, really enjoy. You want it to be a connection. So again, meaningful. A cousin's name, a sister's name, a favorite store, a favorite restaurant. Make it meaningful to them. Repeated practice, right? You want to keep doing it over and over. You can vary it, but keep the skill the same. And then time for it daily. You want to go over it every day, right? The last thing I want to talk about is reading to your kiddo. There is so many studies that show, and I don't have the actual numbers or the data, but the more you read to your child, the better literacy skills they will eventually have. I think there's a saying that there's no replacement for your lap, right? Have them sit with you, go over the books. You don't have to read it word for word if they're not good at sitting and listening to stories, but at least show them how to hold the book. Where do we start with the book? Kind of scan as you're reading the book so they know that it's left to right, and then you go down a row and you go left to right again. Just those little things, even if you're not telling them what you're doing, they're going to see what you're doing. Okay, you're going to expose them to how you look at a book. Talk about what you see in the pictures of the book. Label items. If we're beyond labeling items, ask them open-ended questions. I don't have a book. Okay, so if you have a book, open to a page, right? As you're reading through it. Okay, fun one, right? Playground. Ask them to recall information about when they've been to a playground. What do you think the boys and girls are doing? Oh my gosh, look at her hair. She must be swinging so fast. Okay, look at his, that person, they're on their belly. I wonder what that feels like. Do you think you would like going on your belly? Okay, ask questions as you're reading. It doesn't even have to pertain to the story. Sometimes just get them talking. Talk about how the words can make the pictures come alive, right? They're talking about the different colors in the book. You can talk about shapes that you see. Just as you're going through the book, just another thing to do is just ask questions. Oh, do you think they're having fun? What would you do on the playground? Okay, again, it doesn't really have anything to do with the book, but it's getting them thinking. Okay, it's using their vocabulary. Blocks. Wow, they're building with their blocks. What are they going to build? What shapes did they use? Why do you think they use those shapes? Why didn't they use circles? Okay, just ask questions as you're reading. Your reading to them is going to be so important as they move forward. Trust me, I have a 15-year-old who's in sophomore honors English, and I don't think that he would be as an avid reader as he is now if we didn't do all that when he was little. Okay, all three of my kids love to read, and they're pretty good readers because partly it's just DNA and who they are, but part is because we did make it such a big deal. We read at home. We try to read every now and again. They're all older, so my 9-year-old still likes to read with me. My boys, not so much. But just make that part of your day. Make that daily exposure. I get it. It's hard. Sometimes you're exhausted by the end of the night, and the last thing you want to do is read the book 4 times in a row because that's what they're asking. Okay, do it. One, because it goes so fast, and the next thing you know, it's almost time for them to go to college. But also, it is giving them those basic skills and that love of reading because they're going to love that time with you, and they're going to associate that with reading the books. Okay, now again, not everyone is going to be an avid reader because you read to them at night, and I know that. But you're going to give them a bigger leg to stand on as they're learning how to read. Okay. All right, so I gave you some things to try to use at home. Again, you don't have to run out and buy everything. You can make things by hand, okay? If you don't want to buy these things, just write out your letters on it and cut them out, okay? Easy peasy. You don't have to go buy a bunch of things to do stuff at home, okay? I'm sure you have a lot of things at home that you could use. Another thing, totally forgot. Whatever your kids are interested in, toys, okay, mini Matchbox cars, that's a great way. Use those stickers, put them on the cars, see if they can spell their name. If they like dolls, okay, Barbies, let's say. Okay, put some letters on the Barbies. Name the Barbies and then talk about the Barbies' names and what letters are in their names. Okay? If they like fire trucks, same thing. Put some letters on the fire truck, and as they're going along, talk about the letters on the fire truck. Okay? Sorry, I just thought about those. I think those are going to be a good way to kind of get your way in. Paw Patrol characters. How could I forget? When we put the Paw Patrol characters out here, they were in heaven. Talk about the Paw Patrol characters, their names. Talk about the letters that they start with. Again, that's meaningful. It's hands-on. They love it. If you have Marshall and Zuma and Rubble and all those guys, throw the first, like if you have the little sticky letters, okay, or just make it and tape it on there, put their first letter on there. See if they'll, oh, M is for Marshall. That's so cool. Marshall. It starts with M. Okay. Anything that you can do to relate to what they already love is going to be beneficial. All right. If you have any questions, if you need anything from me specifically, please reach out. I'm also going to try to give you some resources of things that you can go to online, just to help you maybe better understand how the literacy stages work. And then also just ideas of like what I just gave you with the letters and the stickers and all of that stuff. So yeah, if you have any questions, please reach out. Thanks so much for your input and giving us what we can give to you so it's meaningful for these parent outreach days. It's really helpful for us because we want to make it worth your time and our time. So again, any questions, please reach out. If not, I will talk to you soon.